A great workshop is just a keynote that breathes. It's the same bones, but with more oxygen. It's story, structure, and stakes. It's interaction, calibration, and synthesis. Workshops fail not because you don't care. They fail because there's no scaffolding. You don't understand it takes a rhythm and a cadence. There's no deliberate movement from insight to integration. And if you want transformation, not just spurting information, then you're going to have to design the experience. Like I keep saying, in so many facets of this business, success is a deliberate act. Every workshop we build with clients and in our own business has 10 key moves, not 10 pieces of content, 10 moments that will move people and a room forward to another place. I'm not going to break down all 10 here because that is, as I've said, part of our private programs. Hey there, welcome back to the Speaker Driven Business Podcast. And this particular week, I want to speak into something that is making itself a big message. They've got deep experience. It's what I call deep lived or worked experience and something very real to share with the world. They're not playing on the edges and they're beyond a simple thought bubble. They are ready to step up, to land work, to own the room, to claim the stage. They are ready to bring what they know to be true about the world to the world. And for the first few weeks, sometimes for the first few months, they're all in. But then building the keynote, the structure of a great speech that will create the results that you want, starts to get, let's be honest, hard. And it's not because they're doing it wrong, but because they're finally doing it right. And it's completely unfamiliar. They're sitting with their story. They're shaping their models. They're pulling together years, sometimes decades of experience into something tight, compelling, and memorable. For some people, they are funneling decades of experience and insights, the deepest of lived experience we can imagine, into a 45-minute speech. And that's not easy. That kind of thinking, that kind of crafting, that kind of attention to the nuances is actually work. It's identity work. It's structure work. It's story work. And it's actually uncomfortable. And it's probably best summed up by a post recently inside one of our programs from one of our clients. We're about halfway through the 2025 Paid Speaker Accelerator, and I realized that we needed to really put some extra scaffolding around our people as they go through the messy middle. They're in the messy middle. They're really rumbling with the work. And inside the program, one of the participants wrote this. I think for me, the worst part was I did not preempt this at all. I just thought I was here to write a few things down, stitch them together, call it a speech, and add it as a feather to my cap. I did not expect to be pulled and stretched in all these directions like I'm strapped to the dreaded rack in a medieval torture scene, which is why it caught me by surprise and it gave me so much grief until I pulled through to the other side. Now that sounds really dramatic, and it is, because sometimes that's how it feels, but it's also momentary, it's fleeting, and we get you through it. But this is also where the pivot usually lands for those that aren't up for the challenge, for those that are not called to play a bigger game. And it usually shows itself something like this. You know what? I'll just build a workshop instead. That'll get me moving. Hey, I can build a workshop and sell that while I finish the keynote. I really need some revenue coming in, so I'm just going to put the keynote to the side. I'm going to just go quickly whip up a workshop and get that moving. And I really do get the impulse. It feels like a really smart shortcut. To your mind, it makes perfect sense. It feels like you're being productive, like you're actually dropping something that feels completely unproductive and shifting your focus and attention to something useful. But this is the truth that I want you to know. It doesn't matter what you create, keynote, workshop, program, product. If it's not clear, valuable, structured, and sellable, it won't move any of the needles. You don't skip the work by building a workshop. You just create a new format for the same underlying clarity problem. So when I hear, I just need some quick help to build a workshop, my first thought is, okay, but have you actually nailed your keynote structure yet? Now, having said that, our primary focus is speaking. If you are doing a particular course that is just about building a workshop, then this may not be quite so applicable. But I'm talking about people who come into our world who are creating a speaker-driven business. When I first went to learn how to facilitate and train workshops, it wasn't a quick hit. It wasn't just a walkthrough. It was one program was 7 days immersive residential style to get it right. Another program is all about facilitation skills. There's been another program that's all about storytelling for learning. Another one that was all about adult learning styles. There is so much that goes into being an incredible facilitator. But if you want to build something from your speaker-driven business perspective, then you actually have to nail your keynote structure first. And this is always my first question. Have you nailed your keynote structure yet? Because if the answer is no, and you have a speaker-driven business, or you want one, then you're actually missing the spine. Now, I mentioned as we opened that I think the keynote structure, not necessarily the keynote speech as in the keynote position on a stage, but I think the keynote speech structure is the sexiest on the planet. And the reason why I say this is because, well, number one, it's true, but it's also because there's so much complexity in pulling together a fabulous keynote that in doing so, with all of the elements that you use, you actually can repurpose what you do for a keynote into anything else. Now, when it comes to speaking structures, that means you can repurpose a main stage keynote or a subject matter expert keynote. You can restructure that into a TED Talk. You can restructure that into a pitch. You can restructure it into a story, more dramatic storytelling. You can structure it into a book. You can structure it into anything, right? The keynote structure doesn't just support a speech, it actually anchors your entire business of speaking. It underpins how we create 20-minute lead generating presentations for those who are doing lots of networking and lots of small room presentations, but not really generating any revenue or leads. It underpins a full day workshop. It underpins your pitch, your book, your thought leadership models. Because see, this is the thing, they all sit on the same architecture. Not the same content, not the same energy, but the same structural intelligence. So when a client says, I'm just going to pop over and build a workshop while I figure out the keynote, what I hear is, I want a result without frustration, and I want a result without foundation. It's not how it works. People come to me to get a sustainable, paid breakthrough, whether there's paid as a speaker or paid through speaking to build a business or establish expert authority. That means we must create foundations for sustainable success. And where this runs into problems is because we've actually bought into this unspoken myth that workshops are somehow easier, that they're softer, they're simpler, we're less exposed. But the truth is, they're just a different kind of hard, or should I say unfamiliar, because that is all it is. The process of building something speaking driven that is powerful for almost all of you listening right now and most of our client base is completely unfamiliar when you start. A workshop is not a dump of ideas. It's an experience, it's a strategy, it's a container for transformation. And it still has to do the heavy lifting. Structure, engagement, flow, timing, value, clear learning outcomes, and the all-important ability to be sold, not just delivered. We have to sell our ideas and our outcomes, not just deliver a run-through. And there is one other thing that I want to state so clearly right now. If you are already good on stage, just because you're great on stage doesn't mean you can facilitate a great workshop. And if you are already running great workshops, just because you are a great facilitator doesn't mean you can command a stage as a main stage speaker. Speaking and facilitation are different skill sets, but they are both skills and they both can be learned. They both can be built. They both can be refined if you choose. What we do with our clients is we build both, because building a business of speaking requires range. You need to hold the stage and hold the room. You need to create resonance and shape transformation. And all of that starts always with structure. I am structure obsessed. Now, with today's episode, I'm not going to give you our full proprietary structure, the 10-part format we use with clients that anchors everything from pitches to full day conferences. That's actually IP that we protect because it works. And because it's the reason our clients build speaking businesses that actually generate leads, trust, and most importantly, a little bit of revenue and a little bit of income. But what I'm going to do is pull back the curtain on how we think about workshop design, why we treat it as an extension of a keynote and not a completely separate entity. I'll show you why we always start with story, why we calibrate the room before we start teaching, and why we build with clusters instead of chaos before we actually share what happens at the end is just as important as what happens at the start. There are so many bad workshops out there. I know I very quickly lose attention if it's not a skilled facilitator. Usually by 15 to 20 minutes into a workshop, we really know whether we're going to pay attention. For those of you running online webinars and masterclasses, this is the drop-off point. We have become very focused on making sure that when we run our masterclasses, our peak and our end numbers are not very different. And what I mean by that is our maximum number of people online and attending stays pretty consistent and doesn't drop by more than 10 to 15% over the arc of the workshop. Remembering that a virtual masterclass or a free webinar is outside of your control for attendance. But when you're actually inside of a room and you're not nailing this, your participants are no longer participants. They are now hostages who can't figure out how the hell to get out of the room, right? So this is why I want to get through to you that's important to understand that you have the right structure, that you actually adapt something that creates a spine, right? Because for most of you, it's not the content that's wrong or broken. It's the container that you're using to gift it to others. And this is what most people simply don't realize and don't see. A great workshop is just a keynote that breathes. It's the same bones, but with more oxygen. It's story, structure, and stakes. It's interaction, calibration, and synthesis. Workshops fail not because you don't care. They fail because there's no scaffolding. You don't understand it takes a rhythm and a cadence. There's no deliberate movement from insight to integration. And if you want transformation, not just spurting information, then you're going to have to design the experience. Like I keep saying, in so many facets of this business, success is a deliberate act. Every workshop we build with clients and in our own business has 10 key moves, not 10 pieces of content, 10 moments that will move people and a room forward to another place. I'm not going to break down all 10 here because that is, as I've said, part of our private programs. But do let me give you the bones of what we do. Number 1, we open with story to set tone and relevance. Number 2, we calibrate the room and do a quick micro introduction. Number 3, we frame the journey so that people know where they're going. Number 4, we teach in clusters that follow a structured arc. And then number 5, we use reflection and synthesis right throughout the program. And number 6, we close with power, not with Q&A. We do not wing it. We do not fill the time. And we deliberately design momentum. So let me zoom in on one of the most misunderstood parts, calibration. This is just after we open with a story, and it isn't icebreaker fluff. It is not say your name and where you're from. Right? It's a deliberate moment to take the temperature of the room. We ask questions specifically to understand what are they carrying? What are they hoping for? What gets in the way of success for them? And when you really listen to these answers and these responses and you note them down, you get to contextualize. You're no longer delivering to just the pre-written script. You are shaping an experience around the people sitting in front of you. So that's calibration. Let me explain a little bit more as well about the engine room of our workshops. We teach in clusters, which actually come straight out of the engine room structure, but they're arranged a little bit differently. We need to actually make sure that we're not teaching too much, which is the number one mistake I see. We are better to teach 3 things deeply than to scoot across all the big ideas that we have, right? And in our world, we teach 3 clusters with 3 key elements inside so that we're actually working within and I'm just lost the phraseology, but we're actually working within the chunks of information or the chunks that we have available to process new information, which in most audiences and most workshop rooms is 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information. So we've deliberately structured our clusters to ensure that we actually are mindful of that and we're not overwhelming our audiences. Now, if you've been with us for a while, listening to the podcast and you've binged the entire series, then you will know that I frequently talk about do not overwhelm. Because when you overwhelm, which is usually from a place of generosity and service, but when you overwhelm, your audience doesn't just sit back and mentally cherry pick the bits they want to take with them. When you overwhelm, you will delete everything, and your audience is the same. And as I often say, if you want to argue that point with me, think about when you're overwhelmed, highly stressed, beyond capacity, everything goes out the window. It's the same for your audience. So this is why we are very deliberate in how we shape our clusters to teach just enough to be powerful and memorable and create transformation, but not so much that our audiences walk out and our rooms walk out saying, that was amazing, but have nothing, no clear recollection of what they actually learned and what they can do with what you taught them, right? So these are 3 super clear topics, teaching points, elements where you can go deep, where you can actually teach to deliver outcomes. And sometimes I think the reason that these structures are shied away from is because the truth is most of you are thinking in sound bubbles and thought pipes and content. This is about teaching and sharing and creating transformational change in the people in front of you in that room. So within each of our clusters, each has a scene set. Why does this matter? A clear definition, explanation of what this element is. We then share the theory and the framework behind it. We get the group, the room, the individuals to do an activity of some description. And then we embed the learning as we close out that particular cluster. And we move on to the next one in a really succinct, transitional manner. So there's a bridge between each one. Each one of our 3 clusters is completely connected. And the reason this matters is because we want the 3 clusters to layer and stack to deliver on the promise of the entire workshop. And this is why structure matters, because you actually cannot deliver on the promise in a learning environment if you don't structure and deliberately engineer the arc and the experience for your room. So if you are a speaker or an expert or somebody who actually thinks that moving into workshops could be a good move, or you're already doing them, this is your moment to upgrade. Because when a workshop is just a dump of ideas or a messy whiteboard brainstorm, which is what most speakers seem to default to, people forget. But when a workshop has structure, story, and synthesis, people shift, they remember, they change, and often they'll also rebook. They see you not just as someone with knowledge, but as someone who was responsible for igniting a moment of change, a pivotal moment that mattered to them. So if you are ready to stop guessing, if you want your workshop to land as powerfully as a speech or as your work, if you want one structure that can support your talk, your pitch, your lead gen event, your book, or your flagship program, then it's time to get serious about your foundations. We build that spine day in, day out with our clients. It what lets them walk into any room, on any stage, or in any session and know exactly how to hold it. And if that's what you want next, then you know where to find us. Click through the show notes or reach out to us directly via our socials. Because great speaking isn't enough. Great facilitation isn't enough. Structure, that is what makes it all hold.